It's your two favorite subjects from school, math and science, all rolled into one. What's up everybody, Ryan here over at DoubleBarMusic, and today we're going to be breaking down density and range. My definition of musical density is the harmonic thickness, which means how many notes are there and how close or distant these intervals are from each other. And my definition of range is the highest and the lowest note in the chord or the piece. So how do these two musical elements create tension and then release it?
Density.
Have you ever noticed that your favorite songs, when they build and build and build and build, and it's got so many different parts and there's all these different layers? That has to do with density. So here are two examples of density. I'm going to use the same range in each one. The first one is just going to be root, third, and fifth spread out. It's going to go G to C. The second one is going to be a lot of clustered together for notes, and it's going to be root, third, and fifth, G to C. What did you think of the two examples, right? The first one had a lot of space. The second one felt really clustered, real tension release. Neither is better or worse. It just depends on the situation, what you want to use them. Density isn't only the number of notes, but the intervals and spaces inside these notes. So I'm going to play two different examples once again, and they're both going to contain three notes, root, third, fifth, spaced over the same amount of range. But the order of these notes is going to be different. So you're going to hear different intervals inside at different clusters. Once again, it's going to give two different feelings. And we're going to borrow our good old friend G to C. Different clusters of notes give different feelings of tension or release. You might be looking for something more open that doesn't have this forceful resolve. You might be looking for something really powerful. All of these options are there with different densities.
Range.
You ever been listening to a song and you're waiting for that singer to hit that high note or the guitar player to bend to that awesome note, right? You're waiting for it and then it hits and you're like, yeah, that's the one. That has to do with range. What they're doing there musically is they've limited their range of their instrument to create a lot of power and tension, because this is what they've shown you. And then at the climax, right, at the most part where you're trying to build the most tension to release it, it's usually got a lot of notes or something going on with density. Hint, hint. They expand the range and they give you the powerful note in whatever it is, whatever color tone, whether that's the root, fifth, third, whatever it is. They give you that note and you're like, oh, I wasn't exposed to this much range. We've stretched everything. You've shown me. And that has a lot of power from it. So here's two more examples. We're going to go G to C once again, but the first example is going to have a very limited range, and the second example is going to have a very large range. Same amount of notes, we're just expanding where they're going. You can see that the larger range with less density feels very open, very hollow. Very close together, it feels very clustered, very dense. Neither is right or wrong. Both have their own feelings. I really like both. I try to use as much as I can to space everything out. It feels very spacey and washy. And then I really like using voices really close together because you can get this cluster. It feels like they're all with the same color, if you will, moving towards the same direction. Too much music theory, Mumbo Jumbo? Well, let's break down a fantastic song to talk about density and range. A Day in the Life starts out with his acoustic guitar, trickles in with some piano. Then John pulls out his fantastic melody, which is very limited in range and makes you lean in as the listener. The density of this isn't too large. We start layering some drums in that don't exactly play on the pulse, and that's what makes it so bouncy and fun and atmospheric and psychedelic. We'll layer in some moving bass. Now we have starting to create some significant range and some significant density, but it's nothing nearly to what's going to be coming. After John extends the melody far into his falsetto, we get this amazing orchestra build. This is textbook density and range. This buildup of individual chromaticism creates so much tension and releases to a brand new key. The piano comes in to set the new key with its own range and density. It's medium for both. It doesn't have too many notes. It's got enough to keep the listener going and have momentum in the song, but not too much to distract the ear with highs and lows. Paul's vocal melody then kicks in and it sits in the mid-register, goes a little low, doesn't go too high, makes you feel like you're actually getting out of bed and doing these daily activities. Then we get this weird 20-bar phrase of density. John has this high soaring vocal melody that kind of carries through notes. We've got the orchestra blaring, we've got chords, we've got everything, drums, bass, you name it, we've got it. Like a sound vacuum, everything sucks back in and we go back into the original verse and format of the song. It feels very bare bones. We're eliminating a lot of the texture, the density, and the range that we've had throughout this whole piece after that whole chromatic build. If you think about it, we've changed voices, we've changed keys, and then we've added a whole lot of orchestration. And then we get rid of all of that in a brief moment with still a driving pulse. You get Lennon's very bare bones voice, absolutely fantastic on this. He hits that nice falsetto note, and we come back in with the orchestra. They're still building. Everybody in the orchestra is on their own note, but it's in this chromatic tension moment. The density is so big, there's so many notes. The range is spreading and stretching drastically until you get this big chord at the end. This chord is so fantastic. Such a rich, fulfilling sound after this tension of chromatic build, and bam! It's like they were like, bam, density, bam, range. Also, bam, we're the Beatles and we're making really experimental for the time music that's gonna be groundbreaking. I challenge you, listen to the music that you love. Try to find the range and the density of that. Find out if you really love moments that are quite small in density and range and really delicate, or if you love the massive orchestration. Let music be your teacher, because I am done with season 1. And with that, let me thank all of you for watching this. My name is Ryan Schuffler over at DoubleBarMusic. If you enjoyed this, please let us know. You can tell me in the comments whether you want more rhythm, density, everything. It's been my pleasure making 22 totally geeked out 3D videos. And hopefully I'll have a lot more for you in the future, but in the meantime, go out there, go play some music.